Some years ago, I was sitting in the Sierra Mountains overlooking a beautiful lake that I just personally, selfishly decided to call Linda's Lake because I went there every morning for 8 days in a row, just appreciating and taking in all this beauty that was around me in this pine forest lake. And anyway, so I was sitting and I was reading a book by a very precious friend by the name of Isa, and it was called Abba's Child by Brennan Manning. And there is one line, apart from many others, that really struck a chord in my heart in that book, and it said there, God mourns our preoccupation with our low self-esteem. I cannot even tell you, even years later, how much that one-liner did something in my heart. And I decided there and then, as a woman who had suffered and struggled with low self-esteem and low self-confidence, on the outside being bold and brave and courageous and outspoken and some Scottish blood there will help that, but on the inside, always second guessing myself, always thinking I screwed up, I messed up, I made a mistake, I should have, could have done this better, and just such an incredibly stressful way to think and live. And that day, I decided I will no longer be preoccupied with low self-esteem. So, and I'm a person who thinks in pictures. I'm very visual. Everyone is visual. Some are more visual than others. We all have the seven metacognitives in our brain in terms of how we grow and learn and develop and so on. And some lead with visual, some lead with kinesthetic. Anyway, to the point, I visualized myself standing up at that lake, and I visualized myself in the boxing ring that I had been fighting low self-esteem for years, 40-something years, fighting low self-esteem. Because low self-esteem, he's going to be there every day waiting for me to fight it. You don't fight your low self-esteem. I went like this. I took the boxing gloves off, I dropped them, and I turned my back on low self-esteem, and I stepped out of the boxing ring. That was a real turning point for me in my life. Do I still face struggles and temptations to get back in the boxing ring? Yes, I do. But I will not step foot back in the boxing ring. I took my focus off fighting low self-esteem, and I put my focus and my efforts on other powerful, bold, beautiful, valuable things. And they grew. Because, here's the truth, friend, the minute that you take your gloves off and just drop them and turn your back on low self-esteem, guess what happens? Low self-esteem disappears. It has no power over you. It has no one to fight, doesn't have you, so it will go and climb into somebody else's boxing ring. And that's their thing to deal with. I don't know if this will help you. It was a very powerful moment for me. And so what have you got to lose? Then just try it, right? If you're listening to this message right now, and if you're watching this video, maybe this is for you. Maybe this is a powerful visual for you as it was for me, thanks to that book that I read so many years ago that said that God mourns our preoccupation with our low self-esteem. I don't want to do that to my God. I don't want to be that person. I have other challenges, and I always will. And nobody is perfect. But I decided low self-esteem is not something I'm going to give my time or attention anymore. None. And it was life-changing. So try it. I'll do it with you right now. You're in the boxing ring. Close your eyes. Close your eyes. And take off the boxing gloves that you have had over your two fists. Open your hands, drop them to the floor. Look self-esteem in the eyes. Turn your back, turn around, and get out of the boxing ring and walk away. I hope that'll do for you all or some of what it did for me. And the book again, Abba's Child, A-B-B-A, by Brennan Manning. A beautiful book that has a faith message. If that's not for you, you can learn anything from anyone if you open your mind and make sure you don't have judgments against those who do or don't believe what you believe, who dress differently, who are different. We can learn anything from anyone if our hearts and minds are open. So that is just a little something very personal that I wanted to share with you today. And it's quite incredible, friend, years later, how I have other challenges like everybody else does and other triumphs and so on. But I don't think about low self-esteem. It doesn't hold my attention anymore. I don't think about my worth. I don't have to declare I am this, I am that. And on a last note, by the way, if you are someone who says I am enough, you are not speaking in line with your God-given beauty. I am enough is a worldly response, in my opinion, to a worldly attack on your spirit of beauty. Where in the scriptures does it say that you're enough? It doesn't. Enough of what? Have you ever stopped? Enough for what? Enough for whom? Enough for... Nowhere does it speak anywhere in the scriptures to you being enough. It does say you're majestic and splendid in Psalms. It says you are to be a light on a hill. It says you are precious and he delights in you. It says your spirit of beauty is a real God-given thing. It says you are precious and rare and valued and loved. It does not say that you're enough. So if you've been saying that and you're still saying it and it's not working, there's a reason for it. There's no power in that. You can say other things if that builds you up, but step out of the boxing ring, leave and turn your back on low self-esteem, and you will find that it will not fight you any longer.